Welcome to the Studio Success Formula Podcast, the business school for dance studio owners. And now for your host, Clint Salter.
Hello there, dance studio owners. It's Clint Salter here. Welcome to episode number 61 of the Studio Success Formula podcast. So glad that you could join us yet again for an awesome week. Well, what I hope is going to be an awesome week for you when it comes to growing your studio. Now, we're changing tracks a little bit today, and I'm bringing you an interview with someone who simply blew my mind. Now, back in October of last year, I was at an event and I met our guest's husband, and he was telling me about the amazing things that she's doing in the world to help people reach their full potential, overcome those personal obstacles that we all face in our businesses and in our lives, and get people operating at their best. And I was like, you know what? I need your amazing wife on my podcast. So I'm super happy to introduce you today to Marissa Peer. And she's actually been named Britain's best therapist by Tetler magazine. She's a best-selling author who, like I said, teaches simple steps that produce life-changing results. It's pretty amazing, her work, and we have a really fascinating conversation. Now, what I talked to Marissa about is what's stopping us living our best ever life. And it's funny because you think we've all got different things going on. We don't. There's a couple of common things that we all are faced with that stop us from being amazing. And so we jump into those. Now, Marissa also breaks it down for us and gives us just 3 easy steps to create a life that we want, which is awesome, which I love, and you're going to absolutely love that tip. We jump into what it means to be an amazing leader, and I wanted to ask Marissa about this because as studio owners, and I know so many of you, especially those who are listening, want to grow your business. And we all know that we can't grow our business unless we become better leaders and we work on ourselves as leaders. And so her and I kind of jump into what makes an amazing leader, and if we're struggling with that concept of leadership, what we can do to overcome it. She's an expert when it comes to health and has worked with many celebrities, people that are in the public eye, around getting them on track when it comes to their health, from addictions to eating challenges. We cover a lot of that because I know for so many of you, you've asked us and in the association about how to be healthier because you finish class at like 9 or 9:30 and it's so easy just to, on the way home, go and grab something through a drive-through, and you want to look after yourselves, but you find it a little bit tricky. And so Marissa's got some really helpful tips on that. We talk about fear, we talk about building your confidence, and Marissa leaves us with her 3 top tips for running a successful business. I'm pretty sure that this lovely, intelligent, passionate, and very funny lady is going to really inspire you today. Not only inspire you, she's going to give you some practical advice and some tips so that you can take your life to completely new levels. Please enjoy this great interview with the amazing Marissa Peer. Hey Marissa, thanks for joining us today. How are you?
I'm really well, thank you. How are you?
Fantastic, because I'm speaking with you. Now, Marissa, if our audience isn't aware of you and your work, I'd love for you to tell us a little bit what you do today in your business to help individuals move through and deal with their challenges that life throws us. And how do you get them to succeed to their greatest potential?
Okay, well, my business is an interesting business. I started off working in a dance studio. I became a really, really successful dance teacher, which I loved. But then I noticed how many women in my class were anorexic or bulimic. And actually, I went off to study hypnotherapy because I thought I'd have a second business, curing people. As it happened, the second business just became so successful, I had to sadly give up the first, which was never my intention. And so I became a really, really successful hypnotherapist known for curing people in one session, which I still do. And because I was so successful, I ended up working on a lot of television shows as the therapist. And because I was like doing TV shows in the UK and LA simultaneously, I wrote a book, and then I ended up writing 4 best-selling books. Then I became a speaker. And now I've just started my own hypnotherapy school. So I have one business, which is really giving people freedom from their issues, but it has lots of little offshoots, the speaking, the books. But I love all of it.
I love it. And you touched on something there about, giving people freedom. And I know from working with our dance studios that a lot of time they feel like they're not free. Now, I know in one of your presentations, How to Mastermind Your Life in 3 Easy Steps, I know you talk about the fact that all of us kind of have the same problems in life. So I'd love for you to kind of talk a little bit about those common threads that hold us back from living our best life, and maybe some steps on how we can overcome that.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting for me because I've been voted the best therapist a lot, which is not to bang my own drum. It's not that. It's that when you get voted the best therapist, everyone in town wants to see you. And I'm being flown all over the world. And that gave me access to people at the top of their game. So I'd be working with leading CEOs, rock stars, Hollywood movie stars, a royalty. But I realized that they had exactly the same problem as someone who's running their own bakery, in that most people just don't feel worthy or good enough. And so I do see people having the same 3 problems. And they either don't feel good enough or lovable enough, so their relationships suffer. Or that same feeling of unworthiness means that even when they attract enormous success, they tend to sabotage it because of this feeling that I'm really not worth it. It's all their beliefs. Or they have this another belief, which is nobody can have everything. I can have this great business, but when I put in the hours, my relationship will suffer. Or maybe I could just about pull off a huge, phenomenal business, a great marriage and children, but my health is going to suffer. I'll never get to the gym. I won't have time to NutriBullet or eat properly. And it's the limiting beliefs that hold people back. And those 3 are the ones that I come up with over and over again. And they really hurt people because it's almost like this block they have that stops them having success. And when you look at people who really have success, like Richard Branson, he has a lot of what I call playtime in his success. He enjoys his life. He's always out involved in sport. And he believes he deserves all of it. But also he's happy to share it, and he gives a lot of stuff away. And so what I do now is try and work with business owners, particularly entrepreneurs and people who own their own business, because they have more blocks than someone who works for someone else, because of this belief that the price I'm going to have to pay for this is too high. And then they go into self-sabotage.
And I mean, that's a really great point for our dance studio owners, because a lot of our studio owners, as you would know, are running their business and their studio is essentially their life. Plus they have families outside of the studio. And with our members, they're always saying, essentially, how can I have it all?
Yeah. Well, to have it all, the first thing you have to have is a belief that you deserve it all. And some of us do have that, but often, if you have parents who say nobody can have it all and it's impossible to do that. And so my mother, bless her, still says to me, oh, your life is so hard. I'm like, Mum, my life isn't hard. I fly first class all over the world. I have an amazing life. She goes, but it's so hard. It really isn't hard. But she's convinced herself it is. I don't have to get up at 6 and commute to the city in the middle of winter and work on a shop floor and come back again. I have a very privileged life. But even with my life, my mother keeps telling me how hard it is and the sacrifices I'm making, which I have to say I've never actually noticed. But if you often grow up with people telling you that, or you get that thing about people really envying your success and believing that you must be a really tough, heartless person because you can't possibly have that much success without being ruthless. So we have all these beliefs that other people give to us or give to other people. And particularly for women, because I know a lot of dance studio owners are women too, but it's that belief that if you've made it, you must be a really cold, hard bitch, frankly. And it isn't true, but we don't realize how much our beliefs affect us. They have this insidious effect. So I get people to challenge all of those beliefs in a very particular way and to get rid of them. And then it really does change their life in the most extraordinary way.
And so what are some practical steps if we've identified that, they're listening to us speaking and our studio owners are saying, that's me, that's completely me. I don't think I'm worthy. I don't think I'm enough. I'm trying to have everything, but I feel like I can't have anything. I mean, what steps can we start to take to break away from that?
Well, it is a process. I mean, I would definitely recommend you go onto YouTube and have a look at a talk I've done called You're Enough, because it makes people understand that you are enough. But when you hear this voice in your head, and we all have a voice in your head, you need to change that with something else, and to understand that, the universe that gave you your particular skills will support you 1,000%. And, getting people to exercise, I mean, that's such a great service, because most people don't exercise enough. And I find that once people start to exercise, they also start to want to live a healthier life. But you must wake up and go, I deserve this, I'm worth this, I'm attracting this to me, and I'm going to give back and change people's lives. So that's terribly important. But the other thing about, running your own business is that people really overestimate how quickly they can make it succeed and underestimate the long-term success. You see, if I could tell you one thing, it would be that when I work with people who've got everything, and I really mean everything, an amazing business, a beautiful relationship, and the commitment to looking after their own mental health, which may be yoga or juicing, maybe meditating. People who are very successful have three things that they do. The first thing is they do what they hate. They will do what they absolutely hate to get to where they want to be. And people who fail will give up their dream before they do what they hate. So on your way to the top, you must be prepared to do what you hate. And you must be prepared to do what you hate first. So people who are very successful, they've got to discipline someone, fire someone, make a really difficult call. They do it first. They've got to work out. They do it first. Like this morning, I had to get up at 3 a.m. because I do a live Q&A in LA every Monday. And I don't love getting up at 3 a.m. But every time I'm about to do it, I think this reminds me of when I was a kid at Christmas, and I'm getting out and I'm speaking to 1,500 people. And I focus on how good I'm going to feel afterwards. And then I go back to bed at 5 feeling really good that I did it. So you must absolutely be prepared to do what you hate. All successful people do what they hate first. And most people who fail give that up quicker. Secondly, you must be prepared to take action every single day in the direction of your goals. So when you're starting out, do one thing every day. If it make one phone call, one email, one something that will draw more clients into you, because you can't enjoy your downtime unless you feel you've earned it. And that's the other problem with your own business, that when you do have some time off and go to the cinema or play with your kids in the park, your mind is always thinking, I should be working, I've got all these emails, this paperwork, and you can't enjoy your time off. So on your days off, just do one thing for 5 minutes or 10 that's connected to your business. Do it first, and then allow yourself to really shut yourself off from your business, because when you have your own business, it is a 24-hour thing, but you have to be able to enjoy your downtime. That's really, really so important. I mean, there's so many other things that I could tell you, but those two things would really, really help you.
Fantastic. I want to ask you, you touched on essentially the language that we feed ourselves, the words that we say to ourselves. How important is our self-talk? How kind of connected is it to our success?
Oh, it's more connected to your success than anything else in the world. For instance, if you've got people listening now, I'll give you an example. I'll do it with you, Clint. Just close your eyes. And just imagine you're holding in your hand half of a big fat lemon, the most juiciest, fragrant lemon. And just put that lemon in front of your nose and just inhale it and smell that great lemon smell. And now open your mouth, and I want you to cram that half a lemon into your mouth and start sucking it and chewing it and biting the flesh and sucking all the lemon flesh out. And you see, what will happen as you do that is your mind begins to respond to the words. There is no lemon, but as far as your mind's concerned, I'm sure you notice that you're pumping out saliva to your thoughts. Did you notice that?
Yeah, totally.
And you see, there's no lemon. But if you think you're eating a lemon, your brain produces saliva. If you think a job is too hard, obstacles come up. And this is what happens when you say things like, my job is killing me, this client is a nightmare, my hours are destroying me, I'm dying under the paperwork, or, these taxes are just destroying my health. Your brain is very simple. People think the mind is complicated. I actually make a point of breaking down how the brain works to 3 things. But your mind's job is to keep you alive on the planet. And the only way it can do that is making sure that you avoid pain. So when you're a little kid, if you go to stroke a dog and it bites you, you link pain to dogs. If somebody makes you eat them as disgusting undercooked eggs, you can't ever eat them again because that is pain. But when you're saying this commute to work is torture, this client is hell, these hours are terrifying, I'm dying under my paperwork, your brain goes dying, hell, nightmare. Oh, this seems to be caused by this place you call work, and since it's killing you and my job is to keep you alive, I better make you so ill that you can't go to that place called work that kills you. And that's what your brain does. And then it comes up with illnesses and ulcers and anxiety attacks. And if you keep going back to work saying, God, this is like a nightmare, this is hell, this is torture, your brain then cranks up the response because it's trying to get you away what you are linking pain to. And the way around it is to go, I love my job, I love the hours. Yeah, this client's a challenge, but hey, this is my dream come true. I'm working on my business. So here's some really great advice. And I know when I'm writing books, I have to really give up a lot of time. I have to write all weekend. If you have to put in hours at weekends when you want to be with your kids and your family, rather than going, oh, I've got to do this and it's so unfair, or I have to do this and it's really boring, or I really wish I was out with my friends at the beach, you have to go, I love this. There's nowhere else in the world I'd rather be. For this right now, this thrills me. It makes me happy. I've chosen this job and I have chosen to put in the hours and I've chosen to feel great about it. Then your brain goes, you love it? Oh, I get that for your language. So no need for me to give you any resistance at all. But the minute you go, oh, it's hell, your brain goes, let me stop that for you. It's no different to going, God, I wish I could have a week off lying around in bed, and then you get the flu.
Mm-hmm. Wow, I love this and so relevant because I'm thinking back in, the last week of, being in the association with our studio owners, and we've had a few people, write comments saying, I have to vent, this parent has been a nightmare and everything's going wrong this week. And, and that's talking to exactly what you just spoke about then.
And you know where I learned this from? I learned it from Marines, which was really interesting because when I was on Celebrity Fit Club in the UK and in the USA, we would take very fat celebrities and we'd train them with Marines. And we were in Wales one day and these Marines had miner's lamps on their head. It was raining, as it always rains in Wales. It was pitch black and they were running up a hill and they were singing. And of course I knew why they were singing because their brain's going, hello, you appear to be running up a hill with half your weight on a backpack. In a backpack, it's raining, you've got a miner's light on your head because the Marines are singing, bring it on, I'm a Marine, I love it. And the brain goes, oh, I get that, you love this stuff. Of course, when we say to the celebrities, your turn, they'd go, if you think I'm putting a miner's light on my head and I'm going to go in the rain, you are crazy. I'd die before I did that. Very interesting, I would rather die than run up a hill in the rain. Well, of course you wouldn't rather die, but half of them wouldn't actually even do it. And of course, so that's where I got this understanding of, when you've got to go to the gym or run a race, you must go, yeah, I want it, chosen it. When I go to the gym, I still say, my body loves this, because my mind doesn't really like the 50th crunch, but I keep saying my body does. And of course, if you're training people to work out, you never go, oh, it's boring, isn't it? I bet you hate it. Oh, it's horrible, isn't it? Oh, you could be at home now watching your favorite show. You keep saying, makes you feel so. Imagine running a marathon and starting off and going, God, this is so dark. 25 miles to go. Oh, this is hard. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, my feet hurt. My legs hurt. My friends are all in the pub. And why am I running this marathon? There's no way you could complete it. You have to say, I love it. I want it. I've chosen it, even when it's not true. And of course, the great thing is it becomes true. And in the same way that you would always convince your clients in your dance studios, your body loves to exercise and this feels good, that's what you've got to say when you're shutting yourself away to do your accounts and your paperwork, and when you've got to, talk to people about money and have that dialogue. You go, I want it, I've chosen it, I can't tell you how those words, I've chosen to do this and chosen to feel good about it, will change your whole life, because it's all about dialoguing with your brain to get the right results.
I love this. I just wrote that down. I think it's so powerful, and I know that our studio owners listening are going to be sitting there nodding their head going, yes, this makes so much sense. And they will identify probably in themselves, as we all do, those times when our self-talk does not serve us and doesn't move us closer to those goals and the success that we want.
Well, you see, the thing with the brain is it doesn't care. It doesn't care if what you tell it is good or bad, right or wrong, healthy or unhealthy. It just believes it. When I used to do yoga, I'd noticed that I'd do a pose like try and put my head on my knees, standing up. And then the teacher would say, now close your eyes and see yourself doing that and do it again. And the second time you did it, it was easier because you saw it in your mind. And when you saw it, you told yourself that you could do it. So it is a fact that your mind doesn't care what you tell it. But once you accept that fact, it's also a fact that if you tell your mind great things, you will get great results. I mean, all parents know to say to their kids, you can do that, and you're going to be great in that exam, and you're going to remember all the words. And those kids do better than the ones who go, the exams are terrifying, and I always go blank, and I never know what to say, and I feel sick with nerves. It's a bit like telling yourself you're nervous or excited, because your brain can't tell the difference. If you stand at a fun fair and watch people on a ride screaming, we don't know if they're screaming because they love it or hate it, and actually neither does your brain. So don't ever use the word nervous. Say, I'm excited, I'm jazzed, I'm excited about, opening my mouth. I'm excited about pitching for more clients. I'm excited about going on the local radio and talking about how great my studio is. Even if you're not, your brain doesn't know. And to this day, when I get up to speak, and in Slovenia, I had to speak to 2,500 people in a stadium, and I'd only come out of hospital a week before. And just as I get to go on stage, I get that feeling in my fingers and toes. And I say, wow, this is it. I'm so excited. But I sat in a green room with another speaker once, and he went, I can't go on stage. It's because I'm getting this feeling in my fingers, this tingling. And I know I'm about to have a panic attack. I'm like, that's not a panic attack. It's excitement. That's your energy going through you. But he chose to believe that it was a panic attack and couldn't go on. Because you always get to choose what the feelings mean, and you have to, change the interpretation all the time.
I love it. I love it so much. Now, Marissa, you touched on leadership before, and I know you work with a lot of leaders around the world. And one thing that our studio owners sometimes struggle with, because they've gone from being a technician, maybe a dance teacher, to now becoming a business owner, and they feel like, they're not a leader, but then they've got to step into this leadership role where they're managing teachers and office staff. I mean, what are some things our studio owners can do to really harness their inner leader and also start empowering those people around them?
That's a great question, because when I was working with these Marines, of course, and I met Storm Norman and Colin Powell and all these incredible leaders in the military, wow. And they're guys or girls, love them. And I was working on a television show in America, which was a bit like I'm Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here without the celebrities. It was putting people on a desert island, and they had to pick a leader and all these tasks. And they all picked the same one. And we were saying, wow, this guy, you'd always want him to be your leader, but we couldn't quite identify what his leadership skills were. And then I realized what it is that leaders do. And it's this: they tell you how good they are. They say, I am the best oncologist in my field. I am the best chef in Sydney. I am the best. This is the best English school you could ever go to. They tell you how, they don't brag. They don't go, oh yeah, I'm brilliant, I'm amazing. They just go, I am the best in my field. This is the best studio. This is the best restaurant. This is the best hospital. And when people tell you how good they are, we actually like it. And it was while I was doing that show, I was flying back to the UK, and we hit the most terrible, terrible turbulence. It was quite scary. And this lovely pilot came on board on the airway, and he said, please don't worry, I do this flight every week, and I always hit this turbulence. I happen to be BA's best and most experienced pilot, and I'm giving you a little 5 minutes in Disneyland, and then you'll be fine. You have nothing to worry about. We all went, oh, how lucky, you're the best. We didn't go, wow, what an arrogant pilot. He just said we were the best. We thought, wow, great, we got the best. And we went back to reading our books, because when someone says, I am the best, or this is the best, or I am the most experienced, I'm the most passionate, we like that. It makes us feel safe and reassured. And so if you want to be a leader, one of the things leaders do is that they tell you how good they are. So tell people how good you are. The second thing they do is they only need to be good at one thing. They never say, I'm the best pilot and the best chef and I'm an amazing gardener and I happen to be a feng shui expert, so I'm that dilutes their talent. Just be good at one thing. Natural leaders are also very good at praising people. I see that a lot with Jamie Oliver, who is an amazing leader. And he praises people in a very specific way. He never goes, oh, well done. He goes, you were really good at that. And I noticed that you did that. And when you did that, that happened. And he gives real tangible praise. He builds up staff that are incredibly loyal to him. And in a business, one of the things you need is to employ amazing people. And people grow a lot by praise. I do a lot of work in companies to find out what makes people stay. And it's, one of the things that makes people stay in a company is feeling they're making a difference. They like to feel that they're growing, contributing and making a difference. And a great leader is able to show everyone who works for him what they are doing to make a difference, how they're contributing. And that loyalty will make staff stay with you. The other things that leaders do is that they employ people who can do what they can't do. They have no ego about, oh, I better be the boss. Like, for instance, I'm a writer, and I employed this amazing girl called Rosie Spinks to do some writing with me. And she's actually much better than me at writing. And now I give her a lot of my writing tasks. I say to all my staff, give Rosie all the writing jobs. She is a phenomenal writer. It doesn't make me feel inadequate in her wake. And I don't try and take the praise. People say, that's a great piece. Well, actually, Rosie wrote that. Because leaders do that too. They employ the right people. They're not intimidated that someone is better than them. And they praise them. And they don't ever take the praise for something they haven't done. So you can pick up any of those skills. You see, a natural leader has those naturally. So what? You can have them unnaturally. It doesn't matter, I was just doing a talk online about one of the 6 things that successful people have is they delay gratification. Have you heard of the marshmallow tests?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. I thought you might have done. Anyway, there's something called the Stanford Marshmallow Test, where they took children, put them in a room with a marshmallow, and said, if you don't eat that marshmallow, in 10 minutes you can have 2 marshmallows. And they left them alone with a video camera. And actually the room broke. What happened is you could put the children into 3 groups. One group just ate the first marshmallow immediately, couldn't resist it. Second group seemed to have no problem resisting it because they were focusing on, I'm going to get 2, and then they got 2. Third group had to kind of turn away from the marshmallow and not look at it and make funny faces and bite their nails, anything to not eat it. And then they also got 2 after 10 minutes. But they studied these children for many years, and they said that what was amazing is that they made more money, they were happier, they had a better body mass index because they had a natural ability to delay gratification. In fact, the second group had a natural ability, the third group had to make them delay it. But delaying gratification is another leadership skill. They will come in and go, yeah, my favorite show's on TV, but I'm just going to do this one thing, send this one email, do this call, or yeah, I want to have a delicious dinner, but I'm just going to do this one thing first, and then the dinner will be my lovely reward and I will enjoy it. Whereas if you think, oh, I'll have dinner, watch my favorite show and do it later, later never comes because you have the reward. And it isn't about denying yourself stuff, it's about wiring your mind to see that everything good is a reward for the work you've done, and then you get this wiring of what we call play hard, work hard, in that you have balance because you do stuff, you get rewarded, you do stuff, you get rewarded. And I know that when you're running a business yourself, there often is no reward for 3 or 4 years. You're putting in hours, no one sees what you do, you're not making a great living yet, but you must have reward. And so it's very important to reward yourself. And if you're not getting any feedback or gratification, you need to keep saying, I'm brilliant at my business. I'm really good at my business. I employ great staff. I'm a good employer. I love seeing the difference I'm making to people through fitness, because we must have reward. Our brains are hardwired to have reward, which is why so many people, when they put in the hours and don't reward themselves, start to drink or spiral into, eating 6 bags of taco chips on the go, because they don't understand that the reward system is incredibly important. So you must delay gratification, but you must also give yourself really good gratification, self-praise, and, little things that you can reward yourself with.
It's so important. And I think for, our studio owners as well, is that, something that's come up a lot, with our members is the fact that a lot of them are, eating, they say, look, I can't stop eating. I'm eating too much. I'm not exercising. I'm going through drive-through McDonald's on the way home, and they've got health issues and concerns, but they're not sure kind of how to get out of it or why they're eating as much. I mean, is that also linked to what we just talked about?
Yeah, the body must have harvest. The mind wants one pleasure. You'll find, for instance, people who are addicted to gambling or alcohol couldn't care less about food. People who are addicted to sex couldn't care less about food. And a lot of people who are binging are not interested at all in sex or alcohol, because your body wants one thing. And I think with food, we've got this mindset of I need something naughty. So what you have to do is eat healthy food and have, for instance, my naughty food would be, like, I don't really eat bread, but I would eat rye bread with maybe avocado on it. I'd have fried egg with fried sweet potatoes, because it feels naughty, but it really isn't. So you just got to have better naughty food, like nuts and seeds. So it's all about little swaps. If you eat bags of potato chips, have bags of nuts instead. There's so many great things you can eat. But you should also eat fat, because the brain must have fat. And a lot of us try to diet, cut out fat, and then go straight to McDonald's to eat fat, because essential fats, there's a bit of a clue in the name. They are essential for every part of you, including your mind. And so I quite get it, how easy it is to just eat a bag of chocolate, but just buy really good quality chocolate and just have a little and try to, it's so easy to eat good food that's quickly. I live on eggs and avocados and prawns but stuff I can whip up in 5 minutes. It takes as long to make a prawn omelette and slice an avocado as it does to make cheese on toast or go to McDonald's. You really have to understand that although you're saying, I'm going to treat myself, this is a treat, for your body, it is an absolute punishment. Your body hates that kind of stuff. Your body never goes, oh, yay, please fill me up with chemicals and salt and fat and sugar and more chemicals. Your body doesn't like that. And, interesting enough, with McDonald's, technically McDonald's is more like a cake than a burger, because there's so much sugar in it. So treat yourself with better food, nicer food.
I love it. Yeah, I think it's so important, and a message that I know our studio owners are going to resonate with as well. Marissa, confidence is a big one for our studio owners, because sometimes, the negative thoughts jump in, which we've talked about. Sometimes a parent comes to them, a problem parent with a huge complaint. Sometimes they get a text message from a teacher saying, by the way, I've got a job on a cruise ship and I'm never coming back. And all of these things seem to kind of dampen their confidence as a business owner. How can we kind of shake that stuff off and really kind of push forward and move forward with, what we want to create with our business?
Well, sometimes what I find is to look at your problem and to decide that is someone else's fantasy dream come true. What would you have given 10 years ago to have that problem? You've got your own studio, one of your staff's gone on a cruise ship, and a parent's complained. That does sound hard, but someone else would love to have your problem because you've got your own business, and anything of significance is going to come with problems. You can't possibly have the life you want and expect it to be problem-free. If you want a problem-free life, you just, work in a little shop and live in a little one-room apartment and don't see anybody, and you have no problems. But it's a very lonely life. When you take on your own business, it comes with challenge. It's a bit like having a baby, going, I want a baby, but I don't want it to keep me up at night. Or I really want a pet, but it can never throw up on the floor, and I don't want to have to get up and walk it early in the morning. Whatever you want comes with some restrictions. And when you learn to welcome the restrictions, including the restrictions in your diet, it's easier because you stop seeing it as a problem and you see it as a challenge. I mean, you can't have a life with a business and a family and even a car. You can't even own a home without all kinds of problems coming in. It's one of the joys of being a homeowner. You don't expect there's no landlord to come and say, well, I'll pay for the plumbing that needs fixed or the leak. It's you. But whenever you get something new and exciting, it isn't all good. There's challenges. And what you have to say is, 20 years ago, I'd have done anything to have this challenge. My challenge is someone else's fantasy dream come true, and I have incredible coping skills, and I can just take this on the chin, deal with it, and learn from it. I mean, that's all you actually can do. In fact, one of my clients had a situation like that, and that his staff were always disappearing. And so he decided that he actually, I think he kept the first month and the last month's salary, which was quite hardcore. But that was the only way he could stop his staff ringing up and going, oh, I'm off on a cruise ship or I've gone somewhere else. So you need to get involved with other business owners and find real ways of dealing with that so that you have coping skills. And if you can't, you just decide, okay, I can deal with it. There's always going to be something. There's no one in the world that has a successful business that has no problems. I mean, I work with multimillionaires. They go, oh, it's so annoying. My cook in New York's just left. And, my house in St. Lucia has been burgled and my life is just hell. And I go, hell, really? I'd love to have a house in St. Lucia and in New York, the cook leaving. And, you can't think like that. You've got to keep thinking, how lucky am I to have this? And yes, it's a challenge, but I have all the skills to deal with it because I'm skilled and talented and I have phenomenal coping skills. But I still have clients who come in who've got 6 houses and they go, oh, my life's a nightmare. Oh, it's a disaster. Oh my God, you know what's happened to my house in LA, or the housekeeper in LA stole some of my clothes. And you'd think they were living in Charles Dickens' world, the way they talk about the hell and the nightmare and disaster. It's like, wow, I'd love to have your hell, nightmare and disaster. Don't use those words. And other people go, well, yes, it's the challenge, and I had a bit of a challenging week, and this happened, and it wasn't ideal, but I dealt with it. Because when you use very dramatic words, guess what you get? A really dramatic response. And when you use undramatic words, you get an undramatic response because your brain only responds to 2 things: the pictures you use in your head and the words you say to yourself. So when you say, this is a disaster, oh my God, I'm tearing my hair out here, this is driving me up the wall, those words are so intense that your reaction becomes more intense. And when you say, it is an issue and it is rather annoying, you get a different reaction because when you tone down the words and you'll tone down the response and keep thinking, wow, this is someone else's fantasy dream come true. I was in Zimbabwe because my friends and I have an orphanage there, and I was going to a little shop to buy some food for these kids who've never even seen an orange in their life. And it was a bit weird because I went to buy some food from this funny little shop. It was like a little hut with no lights. And I bought all the candy that they had, which was not a lot. When I went back a week later to get more, they went, well, we don't have more. You bought all our stock. I said, well, when are you getting more stock? They went, next year. No one ever buys our stock, so we don't really ever restock. I mean, no one has any money here to buy stuff. So now when I see people in the queue going, oh, it's hell in this store, and what a nightmare this is, and it's hell having to shop for goods, I always thought saying, you want to go to Zimbabwe, and then you might understand that having money to buy groceries, to cook for people that love you and you love back is not hell. But, we do that. We go, oh, this commute to work, what a nightmare. When in fact you have a car and money to run it. And I know it sounds kind of Pollyanna, but once you've been to places like Cuba and Jamaica and Zimbabwe and seen people living in houses made of bits of corrugated iron, you realize that actually you have no problems. Just keep saying, my problem is someone else's fantasy dream come true. And it just makes it easier for you to recognize that your problems are fine. You have problems, but you have all the tools to fix them. A problem is only terrible if it's what I call PPP, which means it's permanent, it's personal, it's all pervasive, it's there all the time. And staff leaving is a challenge, but you can get more staff. Customers complaining is unfortunate, but it kind of comes with a territory. But if it's not permanent and it's not personal and it's not going on all the time, it really can't hurt you.
So powerful. Marissa, I could talk to you for hours, but I'd love to finish up by asking you, for our studio owners, what are your top 3 tips for running a successful business?
Okay. Well, my top 3 tips are understand exactly what the market needs. You're always going to have competition, but, it's a bit like when you write a book. You don't write what you want to write. You write what people want to read. That's why my books are so successful. I don't write what I want to write. I write what I know the market wants to read. So understand what your market needs. Hire the best people you possibly can and use a lot of praise, real praise, make them feel really good about themselves and really good about working for you so you'll have loyalty. Be absolutely authentic, but also have extraordinary self-belief. You see, my book, Ultimate Confidence, is full of my own little quotes, and one of them seems to have been picked up now, and it's going all around the world, and it's a quote that I made up, and it says, belief without talent will get you further, way further than talent without belief. But when you have both, you're actually going to become unstoppable. So your self-belief will take you further than talent. But if you have both, you're going to make it. So you must have self-belief. You must have discipline. But all the discipline and all the business knowledge in the world won't work if you don't have self-belief. But when you have that, you can do anything. And I'm not pushing my book, Ultimate Confidence, except there's a whole chapter on it about how to be very successful in business, what business people do, what leaders do, how to change your thinking. So if you have any issues with self-belief, I really recommend you get it, because it's like on Kindle, I think it's like $7, but it also comes with a download in the back, a download with a link, and it's got all these different hypnotic audios about how to be great at interviews, how to speak in public, how to get people to believe in you. So self-belief would be at the top of my list. When you look at shows like, I know you have Pop Idol there, you'll sometimes see people coming on there, and the ones that have self-belief and talent are always the ones that win. Mm-hmm. So that's what you need.
I love it. They are amazing top 3 tips to leave our studio owners with. Marissa, absolute pleasure speaking with you. So grateful for the time that we've got to spend together today. Where can our studio owners go for more information about you?
Okay, well, there's 2 things. I have a website called marissapeer.com, and my name is just MARISAPEER.com, and that tells you all about my products, my books, my downloads, where to get them. If you go onto Facebook, I've got a brand new product called The Unlimited Life, and it's all about how to live a completely unlimited life, and that's on Facebook. Or if you just go to Marissa Peer on Facebook, it will take you to my different pages. And then I've got the Marissa Peer Method, which is training people to do what I do, and I'm bringing that to Australia towards the end of 2016. But my website, marissapeer.com, will take you everywhere you want to go. And we give away a lot of downloads, and I'm just about to put one up there called Wealth Wiring, about how to wire yourself for success. And so it's not up there yet, but at the moment I've got one about lovability. But if you go on there and send me an email, you can have that early.
Fantastic. fantastic. Look, so much great content from you, Marissa. Ultimate confidence. That's $7 well spent, I would say, studio owners. So make sure you jump onto Amazon and grab that. Thanks again, Marissa. So lovely to speak with you.
You too.
Are you enjoying the Studio Success Formula podcast? Then we'd love for you to share the love. We want to help more dance studio owners become go-to studios, so we'd greatly appreciate you writing us a review on iTunes. For taking the time out to do so, every month, Clint will be selecting one lucky dance studio owner to receive a Power Business Coaching session. Simply visit the iTunes store today, search for Studio Success Formula, click on ratings and reviews, and then write your review. Thanks in advance. Take care, and we'll see you next time.